And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 6 of the Skye and Skye podcast. I am your co-host, Skye, and I am joined by the amazing Skye McMillan. Skye, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And we have a special episode, a special guest for everyone here today. And I'll throw it right back to you, Skye.
I'm actually very excited about this episode that we have. You guys are in for a real treat today, so I hope you guys enjoy this. And
here we go.
All right, we are here with special guests, UNM Lobo alumni, college All-American, the 9th overall pick in the NFL draft, NFL Rookie of the Year, has been inducted into the College Hall of Fame as well as the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Welcome, Brian Urlacher.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So for the audience listening that may not know, my dad and Brian both came in as rookies and played 5 years together for the Chicago Bears. So I have to ask you if there's any embarrassing stories or funny memories that you have with my dad.
Oh, yeah, I do. I got a bunch, man. I'll tell you what we did was when Tom, runway, as we call him, we had a good time, man. My first 4 or 5 years was a blast. And then, obviously, my daughter's, your mom and my daughter's mom were good friends as well. And we got close to you. So we saw, but what are you and Pamela, exactly a month apart? Is that right? Or something like that? Or
Yeah, I think honestly a couple weeks apart.
So when's your birthday?
November 19th, because hers is
Right,
the
so
first
she's
week.
December 13th. This one.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so we both had kids at the same time, first kid at the same time. So it was fun. But man, your dad was a goofball. We used the locker room. We played dodgeball. We played baseball. We played soccer, but it wasn't really soccer. It's trying to keep the ball in the air as many times as you can. But like we're a bunch of big kids. You try and keep counting how many times you hit the ball on your knee before it hits the ground. I mean, we did so much stupid stuff. You probably know how it is. College locker rooms are just I don't know how it is for y'all now, but back in the day, we still screwed around a bunch too. But yeah, we had fun, man. And obviously, your dad's still one of the guys I still talk to these days. So it's and he lives out here in Arizona. So it's nice to have that relationship still.
Yes. Me and my mom were talking about when you guys were on the game show Teammates on ESPN.
He was the worst teammate ever.
And the question that always cracks me up is when Stuart said, who should play you in a movie about your life? And my dad said Tom Hanks.
No. I said Tom Hanks. He said like Jean-Claude Van Damme or something like that. he said I think he said the dude, I think he said Drago, like the guy from the Rocky movie. And I said Tom Hanks. That's it was who was your favorite actor? And I was like Tom Hanks. I don't know. It was he missed like 4 easy questions.
I know.
He screwed us. We could have won the thing. He screwed us up, man. He was terrible teammate. It was fun. I forgot we did. That was fun.
Yeah. I was watching that over again, and I thought that was so funny. So I had to bring that up.
He was terrible. It was all his fault, by the way.
Yeah. And then when I came here on my initial visit, I didn't realize I was going to see your picture everywhere. Here in Albuquerque, whenever I go to football games, anywhere, I still see people representing your jersey, which is really cool to see because you really made a mark here in Albuquerque. Was your goal to make it to the league when you were in high school? Did you always play football or did you try any other sports?
So my goal was not to play in the NFL everyone dreams about it when they're a kid, I think, if you play ball, but that wasn't I was just happy to get a scholarship to go to college, honestly. That was my goal, to try and get out of Lovington, go play, further my football career by getting my education. That was my goal. And I played football, basketball, track, baseball. I did everything. Now you got kids specializing in one thing. I try to tell my son, my daughter's retired from sports a long time ago, but my son, I try and tell him to play them all just because I think you get more a well-rounded athlete. You do more things. But I played basketball was actually my favorite. I was better at football, but I love hoops, man. It was fun because we go play all summer. We had low goals at the elementary schools, 8-foot high rims, so we get all done. So we go back there in like 6th, 7th grade. And we play logo for 3-4 hours in the summer. My fingers would be all split up from the dryness down there. But I just love basketball. But if I didn't, get a chance to go to UNM, didn't give me a shot, I guarantee wouldn't have furthered my football career. That's for sure.
Mr. Urlacher, I gotta ask.
Oh man, you can just call me. You can just call me Brian, please.
I call you Brian.
I appreciate it, but you can just call me Brian.
Look, at the top of the sheet, Skye has Black up here at the top.
You
can
sheet. Call me that too. Yeah, I appreciate that too. Yes, anything but Mr. is good.
All right. Then Brian, when did you know you had what it took to make it to the NFL?
Man, I gained so I got to college. I was 6'4", 215. At the end of my freshman year, I was 235, 240 somewhere, and I gained. And it was good. Once you gain good weight, because they're training you for football. You're gaining muscle. And then I graduated at 245, I think. But just probably the end of my sophomore year, maybe my junior year, I almost left my junior year. I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been like a second or third round pick. And plus my senior year, I got so much better just knowing the game of football with Coach Mendenhall there and Coach Long there. But my sophomore year is when I had an idea that I might be able to play at the next level. To that extent, I didn't know how. I didn't realize I was going to keep getting bigger and faster and stronger. I thought I was probably tapped out at 19, 20 years old, but I was wrong about that. And yeah, so probably around my sophomore year is when I figured out that I had a chance to maybe play at the next level.
Who was your biggest role model when you were growing up, and why?
Parents excluded, or can I include my parents?
You can include
that's my parents. Not even close to me. My mom and dad were awesome. My mom, so she was single till she married my stepdad. I think when I was in 7th or 8th grade, they got married. And my mom raised myself, my brother, and my sister. So 3 kids, single mother, working 2 or 3 jobs, busting her ass for us, So, and the crazy thing is she never missed any games. She never missed any practices. We're always on time. Unbelievable. And then her and my stepdad married, I think when I was in 7th or 8th grade. And my mom was disciplinarian. Don't worry. She made sure we didn't break any rules, or if we did, it was back when you could still spank your kids.
Yep.
She would spank us, or my dad we had a board. If we got in trouble with my dad. So the discipline was definitely in my household. But those 2 right there were great examples for me of just work ethic. They're good people, and just my mom was always there for us. My dad was there as well. Don't get me wrong, but my mom was always there for us. And she had 3 kids, and she was always at all of our sports, and she never missed them. So I had a couple of great examples of what to be when I grew up.
That's awesome. I have to ask, what is your favorite restaurant here in Albuquerque?
Frontier.
Really?
Oh, man. So, and what's bad is I didn't discover Frontier till my junior year.
Really?
Yeah, no, that's
oh,
crazy.
Man. Yeah, so whenever we drive through Albuquerque, Pamela will tell you, Skye, we always stop and get a cinnamon roll. Well, for me, I like the breakfast burritos at Frontier. So we'll stop and get a couple of breakfast burritos and, of course, a cinnamon roll or 2 at Frontier. I love it. But I didn't discover it until my junior year. If I had known about it my freshman year, I'd have gained 50 pounds. I would have no problem putting on weight. It would have been the wrong weight. But I'd have been big as hell. But yeah, that place is unbelievable. It's still great to me. And it was back then. It was open 24/7. They've changed that now. But it was open. Yeah, there was it was a little bit more lively back in the day down there.
That was the second restaurant I went to when I came here, and you are everywhere in that restaurant.
They got my jersey, and I think her name is Dorothy, the nice lady that owns it. They owned it the whole time. Her and her husband. But we were in there. I was taking Riley to college this year in August, and we stopped and ate. And she was in there, as we said hi to Dorothy when I was there. So pretty cool. The food there is just so good. It's to me, that's the Mexican food when you go in there. Plus the cinnamon rolls, more importantly.
The sweet rolls.
Oh, they're so good, man.
Yeah.
Red or green chili?
Neither.
Really?
You see this?
I can't do hot. I can't do hot.
I might become.
If I'm gonna, I can do some red, but the green is no go for me. Yeah. I use salsa.
Okay.
The salsa you dip in there at Frontier, you can go in there, get your own little thing. That's what I do. That's what I put on my burrito. I don't do the green stuff.
You see, this is, man, I might have to become a Bears fan after this.
Who's your team?
Steelers.
Oh, my wife likes the Steelers.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin, if I could play for one dude, well, there's 3 guys I like. It'd be Mike Tomlin. Everyone who plays for him loves him.
Yeah. The standard
he's
is
awesome.
the standard.
And I like that. And he's never had a losing season, and he's not going to. I mean, dude, the dude is unbelievable. I have a ton of respect for Coach Tomlin.
Yeah, I don't understand, especially last year, and they were, bagging on Kenny Pickett, and they're like, oh, Mike Tomlin needs to be fired. And I'm like, man, you can't just get rid of greatness like that just because your emotions all in it.
Well, that's the media, isn't it? They just want to turn on everything. Every time you have one bad game or one season, get rid of them. Like, dude, sometimes you don't know who's injured, who's not in there. It's just there's so many things that go into having a good season or even a good game that the media obviously doesn't know because they probably didn't play football, so they may not have an understanding of it, or any other sport for that matter. They may not have an understanding of what people are going through.
Well, on that note, what were some of your biggest obstacles that you faced in the NFL, and how did you handle them?
Yeah, man. So, I'll say injuries is the hardest thing to overcome for I think in any sport, man.
Yeah.
It's just because your body won't let you do what you've been accustomed to doing, right? And I was very fortunate. I didn't get hurt until my 5th year in the NFL. I pulled my hamstring, and I pulled it 3 more times that year. So I only played 7 games that year. And then I didn't have a major injury until my ninth year. I dislocated my wrist, and I missed 15 games. I did it the first quarter of the first game of the season.
Wow.
That was disappointing. There's just so many pulls on you with your time in the NFL. But, injuries aside, there's so many outside influences in the NFL and stuff going on, your family, just a lot of things that you have to. And I'm not complaining because it was fun. Football was great, but there's just a lot of things that people don't see going on. It's football. People think, oh, he's in NFL. It's easy. Life's easy for them because they're professional athletes. Everything's easy. Things happen easily, but that's not the case. There's a lot of guys who are dealing with a lot of different things. So, like when you see these announcers talking about these guys, well, he didn't play good. He's not. You don't know what's going on in that guy's personal life. You don't know if he's hiding an injury or playing through an injury. Keep your mouth shut. If a guy has a bad game, he has a bad. If it continues to happen, obviously you can say something about it then. But I get really frustrated watching these games, hearing these announcers talk about, oh, he's done, he's washed up, or whatever they may say, or the really good experts after the game. The post game experts are the best. They know everything. They're really late on you because they'll tell you how bad you played and why you played bad when they don't really know what's going on with you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was a rant. Sorry about that. But the biggest obstacles for me also was the media, man. I had a hard time dealing with the media. You come from Albuquerque. Was there 3 or 4 stations there maybe?
Yeah.
In the whole, and you get to Chicago and it's this huge, there's 60 people in your locker room every day. I'm like, just sitting in my locker room, like, yes, no, it's hard to get used to that. And I did eventually, but it's just hard to make yourself get comfortable in that situation. It was for me, at least.
Who was the biggest opponent that you faced, whether that be a team, doesn't matter, any year, coach?
That's tough, man. The NFL, there's everyone's good, obviously, but the Packers were our biggest rivalry. Our fans, that was who they got up for. We're supposed to get up for as players, the media. You knew when you're playing the Packers that week on Tuesday or Wednesday because there's more media in the locker room. There's just different faces you haven't seen throughout the year, and that's a different game. And when Lovey got there in 2004, he said, here's our 3 goals: beat Green Bay, number 1; win division, number 2; win the Super Bowl, number 3. So his number 1 thing was beat Green Bay because it's not such a big thing because of the rivalry. It was the number 1 rivalry in the NFL history. Easy for me. Hey, say rivalry week fast 3 times.
Rivalry.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
That's impossible. Anyway, so Green Bay was always a tough one because they're in our division, and they're only 2.5 hour drive from Chicago, so they're right up the road.
So you had an amazing 13-year run with the Chicago Bears. What tips do you have for players who want to play in the NFL for a long time and be successful?
Yeah, I think balance is a big thing. Balancing football with your family and everything else that comes at you while you're in the NFL, because there's a lot going on. I mean, I guess you got to figure out what's important to you. Obviously football is going to be there, but your family, I think, needs to be your number 1 focus. You got to get that. When things were good at home, I played better.
Mm-hmm.
When things were right on my home front, because there's a lot of stuff that you deal with throughout your career, I played better. And I could look at the seasons like 2005 Defensive Player of the Year, and everything was steady, but I just, some of the things have to go right. You guys stay healthy. I keep going back to that because it's such a big deal. A lot of guys' careers end because they get healthy or that they can't stay healthy and they're off the field. It doesn't matter how fast you can run if you can't stay on the field. And mentally, you have to know what you're doing on the field. You see the mistakes happen so fast. Like the offense moves, we change, defense is so fast. And if you can't adjust on the fly, then you may have a hard time staying. You can't play. If you can't adjust on the fly, you can't play in the NFL because so many things happen so fast. And for me as a rookie, that was hard it was an adjustment to go from a college defense where I was the guy in the back, backhand making all the checks to go where now everyone's, every time something happens, guys are like, hey, what are we doing? Looking at you. And if you make a mistake, everyone's wrong. So it's, there's a lot of pressure there to be right. I figured it out, a little bit. Took me a little bit, but I figured it out middle of my rookie year a little bit.
Talk about how teamwork and friendship were important to you, managing the home life, but also as a football player in the locker room and the chemistry. Talk a little bit about that.
Loved going to work every single work. Yeah, it was work because it was our job. But man, I couldn't wait to get to the facility every day. I loved it, man. I was one of the first ones there. Like I said, you're with 50 of your buddies every day. Think about it. For 10 hours a day, you have your meetings. Obviously, they suck. The meetings are boring as hell. But you go in the meetings, you do that, and then you have an hour and a half for lunch where you can go in there. You can play the dodgeball. You can play the kickball. You can play all these stupid. You can play cards. You can do whatever you want to. But and then in practice, you're still practice is long. You got to find ways to get your way through it. Ours were always competitive, which helped practice because it flew by a little faster. But man, you got to have. I call it. So I have teammates, the guys I play with, and I have my friends. And you play with a lot of guys who are your teammates, but then I still have, like your dad. Obviously, Todd's my friend. There's guys I play with, teammates who stay in the teammate category. And there's guys who are teammates and friends, and they're in both categories. And Todd's my good friend. So it was so fun going to work, though, man. I really enjoyed it. Not just the teammates, but the equipment managers, the trainers, the guys who just everyone in the facility. Because the same guys were there my whole career for in that aspect, not the players, but equipment, trainers, film guys. They were all there my whole career, so I got to know all of them really well.
Away from the game, you've been involved in a number of businesses and charitable projects. Could you tell us about some of the things you're really interested in besides football? I know you like golfing. I've seen it on your Instagram.
I love golf. Yeah,
pranking people with the fake snake.
The snake. Zeke. So charities, Special Olympics was a huge thing for me. I would leave 15, 20 tickets for every home game during my career for Special Olympics to come to our games and watch. That was preseason. They always asked us, "What do you want to do for?" Sure, whatever you want to do this year for tickets, let me know. So the Bears were always great about that. So I leave 15, 20 tickets every home game for Special Olympics. What else, man? Now, you know what? A big deal? Animals. My wife's like the animal shelters and like helping. There's a couple places here in Arizona where we try and raise money for it. They're sheltering animals, which is, man, it's crazy to me how many animals are out there that don't have homes. It's sad. I can't. When I look at Instagram and there's like the sad things about animals, I have to swipe. Yeah. I can't do it. Skye, man, crushes me. I'm a big baby when it comes to animals suffering. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But most of the stories end up being good if I can get that far into the story without being a big baby. But Skye, like you said, I love the golf. We live in Arizona. The weather's perfect. I'm a big fisherman. So we have a place down in Florida. And it's funny. All three of my kids love being on the boat. So we'll go offshore 70, 80 miles. Phones don't work. We just turn the radio on. We have some beverages and we eat and we just have fun. It's nice. So that's one of my favorite things because the kids are, you guys are always on your phones, and so am I. I'm on my phone. But out there, the only thing your phone is for pictures. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing because you can't get any service. So it's great. It's my favorite thing to do. But yeah, golf right now is as you can see, I'm playing today. So it's it's 85 and sunny now. We finally got some good weather, Skye. It's not 115
I know. I'm ready to come back and join that sunny weather.
Well, it's nice. The Kirky's nice too, right? It's got to be pretty good there.
It's actually pretty warm here right now.
I think it's like 75 maybe.
Yeah, it's very similar. I love the weather there. I'll tell you. And you guys actually get a fall there too, which is nice.
Yes. The leaves change colors.
I know. The Balloon Festival already happened. Was that September? Did the Balloon Festival happen?
Yeah. Start of October.
Albuquerque's pretty unique with some of the things they have, like unique to anywhere in the country because no one else has the stuff they have there. It's pretty cool.
It was my first time going to the Balloon Fiesta this year, and it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever. Like, it was so cool.
Yeah.
I never went.
Never.
What?
It was during football season.
We have Mondays off, so we always normally.
Oh, you
guys
have an off day? Man, that must be nice.
No, Coach Long didn't do that for you guys.
I'm cute. We may have had a day off. I don't remember, man. It was so long ago. I know in the NFL we had Tuesdays off. I don't remember college. I can't remember. I couldn't tell you. I'm sure we were in there doing something anyway. With Coach Long back then. There weren't as many rules back then as you guys have now for off time and how long they can keep you. You guys are. Don't take this wrong. You guys are spoiled with the way
facts.
NIL, all kinds of stuff now.
Yeah.
So also, it's you know what? I hope. The best thing that could happen. I like it. The players finally get to make some money, and not the NCAA. I'm very happy about that. Yes, sorry.
Let me ask you because Coach Long was here, and obviously he was your head coach. He's my defensive coordinator. What was it like for you playing under him? I know he told us the story about how he convinced you to stay and play your your senior year instead of going, which turned out great for you. What was it like playing underneath Coach Long?
I love that dude. His defense. Anyone who's played, I played the Lobo, so I was the guy who didn't get blocked, who ran downhill, making just the guy that ran free to the player. And you know what he let me do? He let me be a football player. Like, so I played receiver. I returned punts. I got to. Man, I'll tell you what. After games, I was tired. Yeah. Is it Travis? Is it Travis Hunter, the kid in Colorado playing 100? Yeah. Man, so he's playing 120. I would play 90 or 100 snaps a game, and after the game, I'd just be worn out, man. But when you're 19, 20, you don't think about it. It's just the way. That's what you expect. But man, he was so great because he was a man. He treated if you acted like a man, he treated you like a man. And he'd be in the weight room with us lifting. Putting on 315 on the bench press.
Still does.
Damn, Coach Long.
Yeah,
I know. Well, is he at Syracuse now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but I got such a and Danny was my roommate. Coach Gonzalez was my roommate when we traveled. So I got some good stories about that guy that I will keep to myself.
Okay.
But Gons was there the whole time I was there, and good dude, man. And you could tell right away Gons was going to be a coach. He was our punter and third string safety. I think he was behind me. But that dude, you knew he was going to be a coach down the line somewhere because he loved the game, and he's always picking Coach Long's mind on the side on the side there too.
What is the biggest lesson that you've learned from the game of football?
Discipline. I think, man, I don't know how you are, but for me, being on time is a huge thing. Like, if someone tells me to be there at 12, I'm there at 11:45. I'm so worried to be late. And I think football's taught me that. It's taught me a lot, just like working out, everything like that. But man, I'm so scared to be late to anything. And the other day I did a thing in a TV show. I was doing this show with Warren Sapp, Marshall Faulk, and Brett Favre. And we're supposed to be there at 10. I walked in at 9:45. And Warren said, I'm like, Warren, dude, you're way early. He goes, early? He goes, all the football players are. We're trained to be here. Yep. If you're 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. So it's just funny that we're all programmed the same. But, I mean, the discipline aspect of the game, that's pretty much with any sport, though, right? You learn how to be on time, how to respect people. Football was great because it puts you in a locker, especially college, it puts you in a locker room with 100 different guys that you don't know. Mm-hmm. You didn't grow up with any of them. They're all from different backgrounds, and it's great because you have to get along. It teaches you to get along with people you may not normally hang out with or may not be in your friend group, but you don't have a choice. It's football. You're in the same team. You all have the same goals. It's such a great game. And most sports are the same way, but football is different because there's so many guys on the team.
We let off at the top of the show talking about, your accolades. And I think the most famous of them all is, you being inducted into the Hall of Fame. What was that moment like for you?
The induction or the knowing that I was getting in?
All of it.
The whole process was stressful as hell. You find out you're a finalist, which is cool. Obviously it's an honor, but then, so they fly you to that year, the Super Bowl was in Minnesota. Great place to have a Super Bowl, by the way, -20 degrees. So we were in, myself, my whole family were in Minnesota, and you find out either if they knock on your door, you made it. If they call you and tell you didn't make it, you don't make it in. So you're sitting there in a room for 3 hours waiting for someone, because all the smart people, the voters are all media people. So they're all the guys who never played the game. Anyway, they're all in there voting for you. And then when you find out what the results are, they come and knock on your door. Fortunately, I got a knock on the first year of my eligibility. David Baker beat on my door. It was exciting, but also a huge relief. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, I made it, man. Because you just don't know. You people talk about, your first ballot. Yeah. But you don't know, because you don't know what those media guys are thinking. So that was great. And then the getting ready to give my speech, you got 6 months to prepare. I think it took me 3 months to get my speech down, because you have 15 minutes to get everyone who's impacted your life from the time you're a kid till the time you retire or whatever, to try and mention everyone. I left people out. The good thing, I tried to get as many teammates as I could, as many coaches. It's impossible, because then you have your family members as well. It was tough, but the whole process was amazing. I'll tell you what, I'm not a nap taker, but when I got back from Canton, I took a nap for 3 straight days. Wow. I was worn out, man. So my party, Skye, I went to bed at 5:30 in the morning. Thursday night was my party, and the kids all stayed up as well. I went to bed at 5:30. I had to be at an event at 9:30 the next morning for Hall of Fame. I did not make that event. I did not wake up. They were beating on my door, so I'm not going to it. Y'all can do it without me. Yeah. I did make the 11:30 Hall of Fame picture, thank goodness. But the 9:30 event, I did not. I was a little hungover. You only get to have one of those parties, so I took advantage of it.
Yeah,
it was fun.
That's so funny. So I know your son Kennedy, he played football against Ryder in high school.
Yep.
But I saw he committed to Notre Dame, so I want to say congrats to him.
Thank you.
And given the current state of football with the concussion protocols and with everything going on, I want to ask, like, do you have any fears of him playing in college football or like?
Hell no. No, I'm excited, man. Football, if you play football long enough, you're going to get hurt. I told him that. It doesn't matter. You're going to get a concussion. You're going to hurt your knee, you're going to shoulder. But you know what? The benefits outweigh the risks to me. There's so many things you can learn from football, and it's going to Notre Dame to me. If you graduate from you have that piece of paper from ND, that's a big deal, right? Your network is huge. You got a degree from one of the best institutions in the country. So football is great. I mean, but I'm not worried about the concussions. Obviously, they're going to happen.
Yeah.
But with the precautions they're taking now, I feel much better about his situation or anyone playing the game because they're so maybe a little over precautious at times about overcautious, I should say, about times when guys get hurt. But I get it. You got to take care of the players. But I don't think twice about the injury, Skye. I mean, I'm glad he's playing. He's going to a badass school.
Yeah.
His head coach is the man. Marcus is a great dude. I played with him for a year in Chicago. Ton of respect for him, and what a great program and opportunity for Kennedy.
Awesome. I'm excited to watch him ball out there.
Me too. It's going to be fun.
A lookout.
I wanted to ask you, obviously you just mentioned the concussion protocols and just injuries, that happens when you play sports, especially in NFL. How have you seen the game evolve? Obviously, when, your time of Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis, Troy Polamalu, those days are long gone. And
they're gone, man.
And now you're throwing flags for sacking quarterbacks. Like,
you get roughing the passer for a sack.
Yeah.
I saw it yesterday. I'm like, how the hell do they call roughing the passer when the dude has the ball and he gets sacked?
Yeah.
You should throw a penalty on the offensive lineman for letting it happen. Don't blame the defensive player. The dude let him get by him. Man, I can't. This could be a long answer, but I get so frustrated watching the game. As a defense, how these guys play defense anymore?
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a DB trying to guard a receiver where you can't touch him over 5 yards. You can't jam him this. You can't do that. Touch him in the face mask is a 40-yard penalty. It's frustrating to watch. I understand player safety is a big deal. I get it. But it's still football. There's going to be collisions. There's going to be hits. The thing that drives me crazy is the college targeting rule.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Don't throw the kids out of the game. Don't throw them out of the next game. If they do it twice in a game, I get it. But the first time, you flag the 15 yards penalty is pretty penal anyway. Yeah. So flag them. If they do it again, you throw them out. But you can't do it on the first time because you've seen these. You can't adjust your angle that fast, and a lot of these hits aren't like the kid from Colorado got thrown out of a game for a great hit, shoulder to shoulder, and he gets ejected for the next game as well. I don't get it, man. They're reviewing them and they're still getting them wrong, in my opinion. Because if you review it, it should be right every time, and they don't get it right. They get them wrong. NFL, they don't even review them. They just, if it's a hard hit, it's a penalty no matter what. And it's not the case. When you look at the reviews, you're like, that was a legal hit, but the 15 yards doesn't matter. So it's very frustrating to watch. I get very annoyed.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to us. I really appreciate it. It's good seeing your face. Maybe I'll see you at my dad's golf tournament January,
that's right. I know it's was it March? Is it usually March or the end of February?
I think it's January. I think it's early January. Yeah. Wintertime. Yeah.
It's wintertime here. It'll still be 70 degrees every day. So,
but thank you.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you. Good job. I saw your Instagram that you started doing this. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. Very good.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
I wanted to say thank you. It was an honor talking to you and be able to pick your mind. And obviously, all the memories that you had made at UNM and your entire football career is very inspiring.
I appreciate that. Thank you. You guys are very well spoken. You guys do a good job on that. I like that. Appreciate it. Good luck to both of you. We got to flip this football team around. I think they got the right guy. Danny's going to get turned around. I believe in Danny. We just got to start doing better. Anyway, sorry. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's good talking to y'all.
Yes,
thank
good
you so
talking
much.
to you. Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing. That was so awesome. Let me tell you, thank you, Skye, for being able to get Brian. And obviously, he's known, or you've known him your entire life. And, that relationship is probably really special and important to you.
Yeah, it was super cool just to be able to see him again, just because I haven't seen him since
Yeah.
January. I usually see him year round, like with if my brother was playing like high
Yeah.
school football, I told you, and then my dad's golf tournament that he hosts every year, and I
Yeah.
usually see him. So it's always good to just like talk to him and see how he's doing and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, and special shout out to Chase too for the setup. Man, it's pretty cool to have actually be able to see him on Zoom and not out of like a tiny little computer
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
We got a whole. You guys should see.
We had a
the
whole
setup.
setup here. We'll
Got
post
a-
it on the Instagram so you guys can see.
Yeah, got a big old TV. Got a camera beaming down right at me. So
Yep.
it was just great. And obviously, Brian is amazing, an amazing professional, not only in football but outside of it. It's truly a treat to have him on.
Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and we'll see you for episode 7 next week.